And we are live. You can start when you want.
Okay, so we will begin our Prospect Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting, July 8th. And the first order of business is actually something I failed to put on the agenda. I have invited Ward Wilson, who is the Executive Director of Kentucky Waterways Alliance, to join us. Ward has coordinated several cleanups of Harrods Creek, and some of them have taken place. At least one of the launch sites was our canoe launch, and he has also recently moved into Prospect, which is great. And I invited Ward to attend our committee meeting and tell us a little bit about the work that his organization does. And I think, Ward, you can probably see everyone's name, but people in attendance, I'm reading them off in the order that I see them on my computer screen. Ron Cundiff, of course, me. I'm not Kevin, I'm Linda. Sarah Odell, David Holmes, Lynn Granger, and Carolyn Embry. So, Ward, I would like you to address the group and welcome and tell us what you do.
Thank you. Thanks. I am happy to be a Prospect resident now. I live on Deep Creek Drive. I can walk down to the park at Harrods Creek Park and all the time. I go there a lot. And I see Carolyn sometimes walking. Carolyn.
Hey.
Hey. Birds, and of course, every time I go down there, although it's not that bad. I like to ID wildflowers. It's really a great asset. I've been with Kentucky Waterways Alliance now for about 3 years. I'm the executive director. Before that, I was on the board. And KWA, we're a statewide nonprofit organization. Our mission is to protect, restore, and celebrate the waterways of Kentucky. So we work all throughout the state. We do a lot of different things, but they sort of boil down to watershed work, where we help people who want to do something about their local waterway. So that can be like the Beargrass Creek Alliance is a group of volunteers that want to help Beargrass Creek here in Louisville. We have a Red River project where we actually wrote a watershed plan with funding from the state and the Forest Service. And the Red River is a beautiful scenic river, but it's got its problems, and a lot of those have to do with septic tanks releases. So we have a program where we'll replace septic tanks. We always do a lot of environmental education, and there's always cleanups. So that's sort of most applicable to, I guess, with what you all are working on. But we also do advocacy work, where we advocate for better regulation and more effective regulations and funding. We work a lot with the state and federal wildlife agencies to try to get projects on the ground. We're really focused on trying to get things done. We advocate, and we'll certainly push for our view, but we like to work with people. We partner with a lot of agencies. I will say, I'm at 4 o'clock, I'm going to be prepared for a deposition. We do have a lawsuit. We don't do that very often, but sometimes we team with other groups to try to push for when nothing else seems to work. But it is our last resort. In terms of Harrods Creek, we've been thinking about doing work in Harrods Creek for 20 some years, and we've only been around 27 years. It's obviously a beautiful stream, got some pressure on it, but it still has a lot of protected areas. It has a great forest canopy. It's unusual in Kentucky to have an urban, semi-urban stream that has that much forest canopy. So it's a real treasure. And there are a lot of people who care about it. So about 6 or 7 years ago, we were able to get some funding and started doing a watershed plan in the upper part of Harrods Creek. We got some sampling done. We started working on the plan. The money sort of ran out, and we did form a group called the Harrods Creek Alliance. It doesn't currently meet regularly now. There's a website and a Facebook page, but we're always looking for ways to do more in Harrods Creek. And one day I hope we'll reestablish that group as a more active group. So in Harrods right now, we know there's some large landowners that are very interested in the stream. One funded a study a few years ago where we looked at fish tissue and whether it's safe to eat the fish in Harrods Creek. We looked at the health of the stream. I guess the bottom line, there are a lot of technical things in it, but it's healthy, but not pristine, as you might imagine. There's some PCBs and actually DDT we found in some of the fish. So you could eat fish from Harrods Creek, depending on what population you are. Pregnant women and children probably shouldn't eat more than one fish meal a month at most.
What about old fat guys?
Yeah, old fat guys can do. Old fat guys like me and you can eat all we want. Right? It has to be fried though. No. So yeah. So in terms of what we've done there, yeah, we've done a few cleanups, but the one that really got us started in working with Harrods Creek Parks was when Barth Johnson contacted us about 3 years ago. I think it was 2018, and somebody on staff got the call and they said there's a guy from Butler, Kentucky, who wants to do a cleanup on Harrods Creek. I said, Butler's on the Licking River. I mean, that's not close to here at all. Well, it turns out he's family with the Bevan family. And I'm sure y'all know Tina and Zach, I think, and all the Bevans. And so they did that as a family activity, which I think is fantastic. And so he said, we'll do the cleanup. We just need help getting rid of the trash and the tires. So I called Ron, and Ron said, no problem, I'll take care of the trash. Couldn't take the tires, but I got Bridgestone tires to take them. And then there was somebody, I don't even remember the name of the person, I didn't get his name, who helped us with a truck, because I was kind of looking for a truck to get the tires to the Bridgestone place. Linda came down and helped too, and we loaded up the truck and took about a whole truckload, a big dually truck.
What was so great about that is that there was some random guy taking his kayak out of the water and said, oh, I transport tires. I'll show you how to load them.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to take 2 or 3 loads, and he got them all in one load. It was
amazing. Yeah, he showed us how to load them. Yeah, it was neat. It's neat how things work. I tell you, I was a private consultant for a long time, consulting engineer, and I worked with a lot of nice people, but nobody does anything for you without asking to be paid. And in this nonprofit world, I've just met so many nice people and so many people that want to help. And so that was a good example. Yeah, I was standing there at the put-in, trying to figure out how am I going to get these tires downtown, and this guy said, my wife's got a truck, or my sister-in-law or somebody. It was a horse trailer truck, so it worked out. So that was a good cleanup. But then Barth said, there's a lot of tires I couldn't get, so we did another cleanup last year. We tried to do 2 last year, and water levels and various things thwarted us. And this year we would have done one, but the coronavirus. We had one planned in March, and that would have been down at Creekside Landing Marina. Steve Rao, who owns that, has been a great supporter of ours. He helped with the one last year too. He brought some motorboats in, helped us move stuff. And so there's some great people along the creek that really care about it. There are a lot of people that live upstream, a little bit upstream of Prospect, that are very concerned about the fish kill that happened at the MSD plant 2 years ago. There are just a lot of people who love that stream. So we're going to be back. We'll be doing more cleanups. We'll certainly coordinate with you all. Linda was a great help when we did it before, and we'd like to look at other places. Like last year, we did go upstream more to get closer to where the tires are. We went to the Bells property. The Bells own a large farm on the other side. I'm pretty sure the Heron Rookery is on their property. Although I asked them about it, and they didn't even know much about them. So I don't know. Is that enough? Is that what you were kind of looking for?
Yes, I just wanted people to, put a face to your name. And I don't know if anyone has questions for Ward. I will say, Ward, you're welcome to continue to listen and stay in the meeting, but I also know you've got something at 4 you might need to prepare for. So does anyone have questions or comments?
Just thank you for all you do, Ward, and coordinating the effort. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we don't do anything much by ourselves. We do it with working with groups like you are all and people who care. And it's a great job. Water's great. We have a great product, I always say. Everybody loves water.
And welcome to Prospect.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. I love it. I love it.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Ward. That's perfect.
All right. I will listen in for a while. I might go away after a while, and I'll certainly have to at 4.
Exactly. Thank you. So I guess the next order of business is the minutes of June 3rd. And I'm wondering if anyone has any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I'd take that as a no.
I think not.
I think it is.
So they will be approved as written. So we've got quite a few updates for the parks, and I'm going to turn this over to Ron because he made a survey of storm damage today. I sent out an email earlier, I guess it was last week, after I hiked all the trails. Some of the things have already been addressed by Ron's wonderful crew, so I appreciate that. But I'll let Ron talk about what he's found today in surveying all of the damage and what needs to be done.
Well, in technical terms, we took a butt whooping last week. We've got about 9 different trees down in 2 different parts. There's a big tangle of trees and Putney's up on the upper loop in the area where the champion tree was. 2 large sycamores down on the red. David Schultz has contacted me, and he is going to go down and start working on those volunteer. So I thought was very nice of him. The biggest issue we have is at Putney's Pond. It looks like the dam overtopped, and we have an erosion area that is about 8 to 10 foot deep right next to the path, right next to the spillway. We're going to have to address this one pretty quickly. Probably going to have Steve Emily come out and look at it and give us an idea of what we should do to fix it, because it's not something that can just be band-aided. It's pretty bad. Road looks like,
I've got a question about that area because that is the one place I did not walk. But I know the last time the dam overtopped, we did riprapping grout an area. So this must be a different place along that path.
opposite side of the spillway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we were, the first one was closer to the parking circle. So this is on the other side of the spillway.
Yeah, and it's not undermining the pathway yet, but it
will.
It's pretty much a straight down shot right now. So I guess I'll get hold of Steve either later today or tomorrow and see if he can come out, and or maybe if Stuart gets on. I know he's been talking to him anyway. What else? The boardwalk took a hit, but not that bad actually. We did find the missing piece. It's about 100 yards down the creek behind City Hall. Unfortunately, it's on this side of the creek. So we're gonna have to try to, since there's a hole back there, I'm thinking we might be able to get the gator back there on the opposite side of the creek and pull it across the creek and hopefully get it back up to where it's supposed to be. We'll do some redneck engineering tomorrow and I'll let you know. Other than that, other than some other trees down that don't affect pathways, that's about it. But we did take a pretty serious hit.
So can you talk a little bit about the canoe launch?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The canoe launch has been the left-hand side as you go down towards the water. It's gone. All the riprap that was there is washed completely away, and it's undercutting the steps by about 2 foot. We've already got Linda and Stuart have already got a plan together on that. We're going to get a bid from B&H, the people who did it, and hopefully we'll be able to pump riprap it and then pump grout up underneath it to stabilize it. And we'll have to wait and see what that's going to cost. I have a feeling we're
I
going to
think
go
the
through our
concern
budget
is
real
that
fast.
Yeah, we've got to, some of these are pretty critical. I'd say the canoe launch and the dam spillway or the erosion on the
Yeah,
other
the
side.
dam is actually the most critical one.
So we need to move on that pretty fast, and we don't know what it's going to
Yeah.
cost and where the money's going to come from, but
Yeah, because I imagine there's going to have to be some clearing done and before it can be rip wrapped and some fill dirt put in and then the rip wrap and then the grout. But
Ron, do you remember who did the dam repair last time?
I do not. Steve Emily.
I don't either. Steve probably does.
Steve orchestrated all that. So
Okay.
Are there contacts at MSD that would be helpful for advice on either a company or like, hey, the end result should look like that? Or I assume the people you get
they
a hold of
weren't the
know.
last time.
Okay.
Steve Emily is retired from MSD, but he was the
Okay.
chief engineer for MSD. So he now works for QK4, which is a
Yeah, the
engineering
contract, the
consulting.
engineering firm.
And so he's always our go-to guy because he knows all the people and understands water.
Yeah, that's why I was saying. So an indirect sort of MSD advice person.
Linda, I wanted to ask, you put together such a good briefing on, the different trails and the damage on each trail. But I was kind of confused on the Blue Trail. I haven't been on the trail since the storm and was just wondering, what the damage is on the Blue Trail. You had talked about something about a log going down the stream and lodging somewhere, and I couldn't figure out where that was.
Okay, so the one thing I will say is that Brian and Rusty got out probably 2 days after the storm and cleared all the stuff that was across the Blue Trail. So thank you, Rusty and Brian. That was great. I did not try to do the stream, the stream crossing where we have the the steps and the railing.
Yeah.
Between Montero Drive and the parking lot. I just looked at it the day after the storm and I thought, oh my gosh, there's a couple of big logs that are blocking it. I don't even know if we can get across it. 2 days later, I hiked down from Montero Drive and it's not great, but it was easy to get across. So I don't think we have to do anything with that. I don't think we could move those logs anyway. People may need to just kind of walk around them a little bit, but I don't think that's a big issue. And I thought it was the first time I saw it.
So did you say something about the tank where the thing actually is eroding away more, or?
Well, okay, if you start at Montero Drive and you come down to that stream crossing, and we know some of those steps that were, there were kind of stone steps next to the railing. Some of them had washed out before. More of them are gone. So it's really just just kind of an earthen slope.
Oh, boy.
So you can still hold on to the railing. You just need to be a little more careful.
Yeah.
But I don't see us doing anything with that right now. And in fact, it was kind of funny because I met a couple of people when I was hiking down, and I asked them about the stream crossing, and they said, "Oh, no problem. Don't worry about that. That's easy." So
Good. So I've been seeing the gate across, closing the road down to the Orange Trail. I've been seeing it closed at night, which is great. Is it open in the daytime though? Because usually I'm walking,
Mhm.
Later in the evening.
Yeah, it's we just never changed it from the fall time. So actually it was intentional. Um, the winter schedule, it closes at like 6 or 7, I think,
Hmm.
and we just kind of left it there because of kind of actually trying to discourage people from going down there late.
Right.
Because technically it closes at dusk, and we've been having a lot of problems with people down there after dark. So
Yeah, I can hear them, or I have heard them from my house,
uh,
so
the police have been going down there, so
okay.
and running anybody off if they can. So problem is if they're out on the creek,
Right.
we either have to take the hard line and tow their cars, which isn't great for public relations,
Yeah.
or kind of let it go. So, but by leaving the gate closed, we kind of discouraged people from going down there. Some people are opening the gate or turning the gate off and manually open. I've had people report that to me. So
Oh, they can do that easily?
yeah, but since we're live on YouTube, I'm not going to go into how I can do that.
we are going to tell people how to
Good.
do that. And any other questions about storm damage and repairs? I will say, since Stuart's not here yet, there are some areas of the trail that we are going to need to repair. And so we'll probably figure out some work days, maybe not until fall, just because it's so doggone hot right now.
It is miserable back there today, I can tell you.
So we will, Stuart and I will try to make a plan and figure that out. Moving on to the next agenda item, I will say that Jacqueline McGrail, who's one of our wonderful volunteers, Jacqueline and I each spent, sometimes together and sometimes separately, we each spent, a couple of hours. Each of us spent 5 days, a couple of hours each day, cutting down and bagging the poison hemlock. And the mistake we made this year, and we're hoping not to make it next year, is we did not do anything to put herbicide on those plants before they made their flowering stalk. And if you've been on the Orange Trail, those flowering stalks can be 6 or 8 feet tall. I mean, they're just amazing. And so we were cutting them down and bagging them because they'd already started to set seed. And so Jacqueline and I have talked about next year trying to come up with a schedule to deal with various invasives and train people to do it. Now, we've got a pretty good crew of people that go out every spring and uproot garlic mustard. And we can also do small bush honeysuckle at the same time. So that needs to be like March and April. And then in May, we need to put herbicide on the poison hemlock before it starts producing flowers. And then September, October is a good time to cut and spray the larger bush honeysuckle plants. We still have to work on the tree of heaven, and Ron's got a plan, but now that we've got a bunch of storm damage, there may be other things that are going to affect that.
It's always something.
It's always something, but we just have to keep at the invasives, because it really, anyone that's been going to the parks over the last 10 years, it's really made a difference in the amount of wildflowers that are coming back. So I'm
Oh.
very grateful for Jacqueline's continued involvement and expertise, because she really is knowledgeable about how to deal with invasives.
Speaking of bagging the in-lot,
Mhm.
you just stop
Okay.
that. When y'all are leaving the bags, they're becoming dumping points.
Oh,
We
well,
picked
we're
up the two
done.
back
We're
there
done this
today.
year.
And we picked up the two back there today, and there was a whole pile of garbage around the bags where people just walk past and throw their stuff at the bag.
Yeah, and I
Not
think
to mention it was covered in ants.
yeah, yeah.
me,
Well,
me and Brian weren't real happy about that one.
hopefully next year we'll spray it before they produce flowers, and we won't have that issue. That's the plan.
I
That's
was thinking nothing else, we can maybe put some rock down somewhere to give you a place to just put the plants down and let them rot.
yeah. So
Linda, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. Jacqueline, or when I was hiking with her doing the quote wildflower thing, she had mentioned that the ground ivy is getting really bad, especially on like some of the rocks and things. That was something else that maybe we needed to start.
I'm sorry. What
ground ivy?
is that the winter creeper? Is that what she's talking about? Or is she talking about poison ivy? I think she's probably talking about winter
I think
creeper.
it's the creeper, yeah, because I don't think it's poisonous what she was looking at, but
Right.
it was starting to go up on, where a lot of the wildflowers come out of the rocks. That was starting to kind of take over a lot of those areas.
And in years ago, when I talked to Major Waltman, who's the project manager for Olmsted Conservancy, he's been a great resource to us. And he always told us, don't worry too much about the winter creeper, except it only starts producing flowers and berries when it goes up the tree. We've got a lot of trees that have a lot of it on it, and you're right, we need to deal with that as well. So that should be maybe our next. And they call it winter creeper because I don't think it ever completely goes dormant, but it's another plant that we could probably really take care of in the winter when the native plants are dormant. That we could
Yeah,
and maybe
it is much easier to spot in the winter.
right. But you're right. We need to expand our repertoire of invasives that we're trying to get rid of. Oh.
It's actually amazing how long it takes it to die after you cut it.
Is that right?
Oh, it takes months before it finally dies off.
Yeah, it's a never-ending battle, unfortunately, but we just have to keep at it. So the next item, I just want to let everyone know that I did file the annual report for Putney Pond and Woodlands. I guess it's a good thing it was filed before the storm damage. This is to the Kentucky Heritage Land Conservation Fund. They provided half of the funds to purchase the property, and we are required every year to send them a report about how we've managed the property and any changes. So next year I'll get to report the July storm damage and how we've recovered from that. But that was, if anyone is interested in a copy, it's basically a 2-page report. There's nothing exciting about it, but if anyone wants a copy, I'm happy to email it to you. So you can just let me know. Okay, now it's time for the Scout update, and I told Lynn Granger this morning that I was remiss. I listed it as Boy Scout update, but we now have girls that are working on those projects. So please change your agenda to say Scout update, and Lynn can tell you what we're doing with the Scouts.
Well, Scouts is slowly coming back to life, and so where we are now, we canceled. There were no summer camp for scouting this summer, which is a big drawback for us. They have done some virtual camping where kids got to buy these adventure boxes and open those up at home and earn merit badges and that kind of stuff. Most Scout units are
And it looks like we lost Lynn.
Should we go on, and when he can rejoin us, let him finish his
Nobody
report?
comes back. Yeah.
Okay. I think he's got maybe an unstable Wi-Fi connection or something.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. So I guess my next question, because I don't really know, I didn't ask, but I don't know if either Ron or Sarah have any updates on the park brochure revisions.
I have not been able, I've not done anything. I've got what Sarah sent and it looks good, Sarah. We just, I've got to figure out how I'm going to convert it. But other than that, yeah, it's unfortunately with the budget, I have not had time to fuss with it. So
Poor Ron has to do all the virtual meetings, work on the budget, take vacation, and deal with
yeah,
storm
that's the important
So
one.
there have been a couple of things on his plate. Do you want to add anything, Sarah?
Sorry about that. No, like I said, Ron's got his hands full, so I'm not going to pester him on that one. But I'm able to make the edits we talked about from the last one. I haven't sent those on to Ron because I don't want to add on to his plate right now. But
I can't remember what the description of Putney Pond includes, but Ron, if you indeed confirm that the Kentucky coffee tree fell down, we probably need to, and it's not the state champion anyway. So
Yeah.
The award-winning coffee tree is not in there. But
Former
what we can do,
former state champion.
That's right. But what we can do, if Ron's okay with it, is you can probably I can take care of that, but send a copy out so that Linda, if you and Ron are happy to have, additional input that I would work into the copy or whatever, I'm happy to do that. Or if we just want to wait and make sure compatibility, I'm happy with whatever Linda, Ron, but whatever for the rest of the group, to kind of get their 2 cents in there. Ooh, I really liked this part and it's gone, or whatever. So.
I think Lynn may be back with us.
I am. I see. Frankfurt, our internet speed here is dead slow. So, but anyway, where we are now, we've got Eagle Scouts now that are able to start working on projects again. We've got 2 of our young ladies from Troop 30 that one has graduated high school. Well, both have. And so they're trying now to get these things done before college starts. So where we are as of today, we have Amanda Dewey, who will be building a kiosk for us. Her 2 brothers did 2 parts of the trail, and her twin brother is one of those 2. We've got Natalie Young, who'll be doing 3 picnic tables for us. She can work into the fall because she's going to go be attending U of L. Amanda will be going away to college and will be leaving. He's going to run to get that kiosk up within the next 30 days or so. And then we've also got Nate Jackson with Troop 317. And he's going to be doing some gravel and some of the border systems along the Blue Trails. So they're eager to get going. We got all 3 of those. Ron, I'm delighted you found the boardwalk. Hopefully, I think it's solid because of all the screws are putting the whole thing together. We estimated those as being 300 pounds apiece. So I'm sure that's going to be a job getting that thing back over to the trail and getting it back in place.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun. I should have taken a picture and shown you.
Is it all together? I assume it's all together. Did it hold up?
It looks like it. It's kind of buried under a bunch of stuff right now. So, of course, because it was out in the stream, so it was being a catch-all. So, it's going to be interesting.
Okay. But that's a lot of things are going again. Things are picking up. And under scouting, we first started accepting young ladies into the scout program was March a year ago. And in theory, October of this year, they would be eligible to be the first class of young ladies to become Eagle Scouts. And so both Natalie and Amanda are running like crazy. They want to be in that very first class of Eagle Scouts, which will take place in October.
So Lynn, am I right? The kiosk that Amanda is doing will be in the parking lot area of Harrods Creek Park? Is that?
Yeah, I'm glad to meet with you. You tell me when, where we can find the spot and market. They want to find out where it's going as quick as we're able. I'm thinking they're looking at maybe 3 weeks or so being ready to install it.
I think we need Ron involved in that discussion because I think the parks manager needs to be the one that says, put it here.
Hey, Ron, when would be a good time? I could meet Friday. I'm in town Friday. I could do something anytime on Friday that works for you guys.
Let's plan on Friday, Morgan.
What, you want to just meet down the parking lot?
Yeah, we can do that.
What time's good for you?
Oh, let me get a cup of coffee in me, say 9:30, 10.
9:30? I will see you guys down there, and then I'll bring some marking paint, and then I can bring the Deweys back a little bit later when they're available. So 9:30 Friday morning, it is.
Great.
Should the weather be a problem, Ron, which you know would never happen, I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, I'm going to skip over the next meeting day time and go to other business. I just want to report that in my meanderings around the trails in Harris Creek Park, I've encountered 2 people that are really interested in working with our committee. And I'm so pleased. One is someone that Ron knows, John Henry Allen, who is a stonemason, and he's very interested in if there are places that we think we could use. I think he's thinking about small retaining walls, labor to help us build some things. So I'm very eager to, walk the trails with him and Ron and talk about what he might be able to do to help us make some of the trails a little more sustainable. And the other person I ran into is a retired physician who knew my husband from Norton and also from the country club, I guess. His name is Win Ahrens, and he is an avid birder. And he told me that he keeps a list, kind of like some of you may remember Paul McAllister, who used to lead bird walks for us, spring and fall migration time. And Wynn says he's out there lots of times. He's very active in the Beckham Bird Club. He keeps lists of birds that he sees. He told me he's seen 130 species in Harris Creek Park. And I asked him, when we've got a handle on the COVID virus, I asked if he would be willing to lead bird walk, and he said absolutely, he would be willing to do that. So that's another contact I'm just going to keep in my back pocket. And when we think we can have programs again, it would be great if we could not only do wildflower walks but also bird walks. So,
Linda, I think that's great that you've identified a couple of other people who might be willing to help us out, and maybe we should consider even inviting them to the committee, because I think once you join the committee, it gives you a little bit more of a sense of ownership and, more of a proprietary investment, in the work of the committee. So that's just something to throw out to consider for the future, maybe.
Sure. I'm not sure John Henry would be that interested, but I think Wynn might.
Yeah.
Because he said, I love these trails. I love this park. And he lives in Honey. I think he lives in Honey Creek. He definitely lives in Prospect. So yeah, that would be great. So does anyone have any other business that we should discuss? Should we talk about an August meeting? And I guess the first question is, does Wednesday at 3:00 work fairly well for everyone?
It works for me.
Yeah, I'm good.
And
Me.
today's the 8th. I mean, we could meet August 5th or August 12th. Is there any thoughts?
My calendar is a blank slate.
I know, it's like none of us are going anywhere or doing anything. Ron, do you have any sense of if there are things going on that we might want to have the committee meeting sooner rather than later, or
Oh, sorry.
what's your calendar look like, Ron? I'm assuming we're still going to be virtual next month.
Probably. Pull it up here. I am relatively open, except for the obvious dates like council meeting.
And council meeting's what, the 17th of August?
The 20th.
Oh, council meeting is the 20th?
No, wait a minute.
I think
It's
the 20th.
17th. It is
Yeah.
17th. I was looking at the wrong month.
Okay.
Yeah, other than that,
So
I'm open every Wednesday. So
Okay. Well, should I just pick the 5th of August? Is that good?
Go for it.
Sure.
for me,
At 3 p.m. Okay. That sounds good. And I thank everyone for their time. Oh, and I hope everyone stays healthy and safe.
Thank you, Linda.
Well, thank you. And
Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, everybody.
feel free anytime to call me or email me if you've got any thoughts or ideas or concerns. I'm always available.
Thanks, Linda.
Thanks for all you do.
Thanks, Linda. Take care, guys.
Okay,
Right.
thank you,
Appreciate
Ron.
see, I'll be good with you as soon as if you talk to Stuart,
Yeah.
tell him when he talks to Steve,
Really?
Emily,
Oh, it's Steve. Yes.
about the dam.
The dam.
I'll see if I can find his contact info and give him a yell too. So
Yeah, I don't seem to have Steve's phone number. So, yeah, that would be great. And I'll send him a text message right now
okay,
and tell him there's an issue with the dam too. Okay.
all right. Well,
Great.
we'll see you guys.
Thanks, Ron. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.